right, good morning. My name is Brad Koch. I'm a captain here at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, currently over our Central Division. And I want to welcome everyone here to the Charlotte Police and Fire Training Academy for our very first ever promotion ceremony combined with a lateral class graduation. This is our third promotional ceremony for the year. Today is a special occasion as we recognize 16 individuals within our organization. 12 who begin their policing careers at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, while 4 take a formalized leadership role in their policing career. Today we're swearing in 12 lateral police officers and promoting 3 to the rank of sergeant and 1 to the rank of captain. At this time, I would like everyone to please stand for the presentation of colors by the CMPD Honor Guard, then remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by CMPD Communications Supervisor Dre Galloway, followed by our invocation from CMPD Chaplain Terry Sartain.
Ready? Turn. Detail. Up. Post. Go. Ready? Face. Me. Set. Out.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Out. Ready? Face. Mark color. Out. Later. Rock. Ready? Turn. Forward. Mark. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left.
Please join me in prayer. Father, I thank you for the promotion and the graduation of these new ministers of justice. What an honor for me to be a part of the CMPD family at this time, at this moment in our history, where these men and women take the honor of the badge and continue to promote what I believe personally is your will. Father, King David said 3,000 years ago, in terms of comfort and desire to continue to do what he was called to do, said in Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul, and he leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." I love the promise at the end of this psalm, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." With the Apostle Paul to a Greek church for strength, for power, and for protection, I would pray that these wonderful men and women, what I would continue to call ministers of justice, may have the strength to comprehend what is the breadth and the length and the height and the depth, and to know the love of God that surpasses knowledge, that they will continually be filled with the fullness of your guidance and your protection. In conclusion, he said, "Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us, to him be the glory that is in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever." And it's in Jesus' name we humbly pray. Amen.
All right, good morning. Everybody can please be seated. At this time, I would like to invite our Chief of Police, Johnny Jennings, to the stage to say a few words.
Thank you, Brad. I'm a little off right now because we're doing a graduation and a promotion, so I'm not sure. Am I speaking on all of this?
All of it, Chief. You can speak whenever
All
you
right.
want.
Is it just me, or when you hear the national anthem, I'm the only one that feels like I need to stand up and just start cheering like I'm at a football game or something? Because we're probably going to have to release an album because we have so much talent within the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. It's always a pleasure to have these ceremonies open up. So welcome. As Captain Koch was saying, the very first graduation for laterals as well as promotion ceremony that we've had. And also on top of that, it's so wonderful to be able to see people actually out in the stands, and I'm not talking to a camera virtually and hoping that people are watching. So welcome to Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Fire Training Academy. This is an absolutely wonderful event, and what I want to do is recognize anyone in the audience that is a former CMPD, if you can stand. I know there's one. All right, those two, yeah. Actually, two that I've actually worked with. I forgot about you, Chuck. Chuck, welcome. Last time I saw him, he had an afro, so it's very good to see him in the audience with us. So this is a very significant time in law enforcement. And I've said many times, it's probably the most challenging. We had yesterday, this auditorium was full. It was full of CMPD employees for the first time in about 16 months. What a wonderful sight to see when you talk about, when we say CMPD family, and then you see the people from our family in here together, and the conversations and people. It was like a family reunion. That is what we are all about within this organization. That is who we are. as an organization. So as we talk about family, I want to give an applause for every family member that's in the audience today and might be watching online for trusting in us to look after your loved ones to do such an important job. So I want to give you a round of applause. So like I said, yesterday we had a room full of employees in here, and it was for our kickoff to what many have called customer service, but it's CMPD serves. And I think that's important to understand that we have a responsibility to the public, and it's always been in our mission statements and our value and visions that we will treat people with fairness and respect. And as you become officers with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, as you become supervisors with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, just know that that fairness, respect doesn't just extend externally. That fairness and respect is within each other. And we talk so much about morale and how morale is low. Folks, your leadership doesn't control your morale. You control your morale based on the satisfaction that you have in your job. When you are committed to our vision and you know that you are making a difference, that's going to be the biggest boost that we can think of when it comes to morale and how you perform your duties. For the sergeants, you're going to, trust me, you've probably heard this, but it's the toughest transition that you will have in leadership within the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Those people who were once your peers are now your subordinates. They're the ones that now you have to look over and you're responsible for. So in the past, when you worried about yourself, now you have to worry about your entire shift. That's going to be a challenging moment, and you will see everybody comes out wanting to be that guy that everybody likes, that everybody follows behind. It's going to be tough because now you're balancing the needs of the department versus the needs of the individual. And I challenge you to always keep the department first, regardless of how that might make others feel, because we have to take that holistic approach. For the one captain, congratulations to you. Now you are in a position where you have to be forward thinking. You have to be looking out for initiatives and ideas that will make our department better. And you have to lead those and champion those. So that challenge is going to be great. And I'm sure you're up for it and ready to go. So with that, I want to congratulate everyone. Welcome to the new members. I want to thank the laterals, one, for staying with the profession. It's so easy to say, I'm going to walk away from this. It's so easy when you look at the rhetoric across the country to say, why am I doing this? There are jobs available out there. People are giving bonuses just to get people to work for them. But you chose this profession to remain in, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you for that. So we welcome you to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and God bless. Thank you.
All right, so this morning we are going to start by recognizing the new talent that we are adding to the organization. Chief Pearsall, if you can please join me on stage for the presentation of the certificates. Our first lateral officer is Officer Greg Crittenden. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Crittenden worked for the D.C. Metro Police Department in Washington, D.C. for the past 9 years. He will be assigned to the Hickory Grove Division. Next up, Officer Chad Cunningham. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Cunningham worked for the Tulsa, Oklahoma Police Department for the past 6 years, and he will be assigned to the North Tryon Division. Next up, Officer Michael Gainey. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Gainey worked for the Mint Hill Police Department for the past 18 years and will be assigned to the South Division. Our next officer, Officer Jose Nieves. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Nieves worked for the Jacksonville, North Carolina Police Department for the past 3.5 years and will be assigned to the Metro Division. Next up, Officer Kewan Harris. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Harris worked for the Durham County Sheriff's Department for the past 9 years, and he will also be assigned to the Metro Division. Officer Kendall Jackson. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Jackson worked for the Raleigh Police Department for the past 5 years and will be assigned to the Independence Division.
Guess he didn't like their next chief coming in.
He definitely did not. Officer Austin Kaufman. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Kaufman worked for the Tallahassee, Florida Police Department for the past 6 years and will be assigned to the Freedom Division. Officer Joe Moy. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Moy worked for the Fort Myers, Florida Police Department for the past 5 years, and he will be assigned to the South Division. Officer Donnie Stevens. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Stevens worked for the Stanley County Sheriff's Office for 15 years and the University of North Carolina Charlotte Police Department for the past 2 years, and he will be assigned to the University City Division. Officer Ryan Stevens. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Stevens worked for the Columbia, Missouri Police Department for the past 5 years and will be assigned to the North Division. Officer Briar Van Brunt. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer Van Brunt worked for the Mount Pleasant, South Carolina Police Department for the past 5 years and will be assigned to the Central Division. Our final lateral is Officer Derek West. Prior to joining CMPD, Officer West worked for the Virginia Beach Police Department for 3 years and for the Chesapeake, Virginia Police Department for the past 3 years and will be assigned to the Metro Division. Now, if I can have the families of the officers, please come over to your newly minted CMPD officer, and we will have the pinning. right, is everybody ready? Hopefully you all practiced. All right, you may pin now. All right, congratulations, officers. Now, at this time, I'd like our city clerk, Stephanie Kelly, to come out and read the oath of office. And if honor guard, you can share the Bibles, please.
If you would please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right and repeat after me. I state your names. Do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state, that I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice, that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer according to the best of my skill, abilities, and judgment. So help me God. Congratulations and Godspeed.
All right, you all may be seated. Chief, if I can have you join me back up on stage here. As we get started with the promotions, I had asked the command staff for each of the promotees for an example of their exceptional leadership abilities. As the promotees make their way here to the stage with the chief and I will gladly share the wisdom that their leadership shared with me. We will.
I want to jump in real quick. We avoided something here because I saw somebody's son start to take the oath. We almost had the youngest police officer in the history of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department.
Yeah, Stephanie's a real pro. We will start with our promotion to the rank of sergeant. First up, Officer Aaron Anderson. According to Sergeant Rooks, Detective Anderson came to the sexual assault unit in January of 2019. After being a patrol officer for only 1 year, she is able to jump right into a role of being a detective. She was eager to learn and brought a unique millennial vibe to the unit that was uplifting. She was well-versed on all the new dating and social media apps and worked diligently to create search warrants for ones the unit had not yet used. Detective Anderson is motivated and a team player. She's been instrumental on numerous sexual assault cases in various roles. She's routinely received accolades praising her victim-centered demeanor when interacting with survivors. She takes the lead on community engagement projects the unit is involved with, and in many instances, the organizer. Some of these projects include the Sneaker Drive to Africa through Charlotte Running Company, Hospitality House, and the Metrolina Food Bank. Detective Anderson is an asset to the unit, and we wish her well in her new role as a sergeant. Detective Anderson is a member of the 10th lateral class hired in January of 2018. Prior to joining CMPD, she worked in the Belmont Police Department from 2015 to 2017 and the Dallas, North Carolina Police Department from 2017 to 2018. Once joining CMPD, she worked in the North Division until she transferred to the Violent Crimes Division as a detective in the Sexual Assault Unit, where she's been since 2019. Detective Anderson will be a new sergeant in the North Division. She was awarded the Life Saving Award in 2016, is a peer support team member, and is a mentor for the recruits. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from Western Carolina University in 2019 and is joined on stage by her stepson, who is an aspiring officer, and CMPD is hiring, always. Her stepson is Gabriel. Gabriel, you may pin.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
Our next promotee is Sheldon Connor. According to Sergeant Greenlees, Officer Connor epitomizes leadership within the police department. He shows restraint and calm in the most stressful environments that this job can offer. He has developed an exceptional skill set during his 14-year career. As a member of the Eastway Division Crime Reduction Unit, he's passed his knowledge down to numerous officers that have come and gone on the team during his time here. Additionally, he helps train 12 other divisions of crime reduction units at monthly training, offering expertise on marksmanship, dynamic build and clears, and vehicle apprehensions. Officer Connor has also excelled in his role on the CMPD SWAT team as an explosive breacher. He works with highly volatile explosives and has the responsibility of getting his team into a structure quickly and safely. On a daily basis, Officer Connor takes great pride in treating his teammates as family. In his role as sergeant, Officer Connor will continue to be an incredible leader and invaluable asset to the police department as well as the community at large. Officer Connor was part of the 155th recruit class hired in May of 2009. He's been assigned to the Eastway Division his entire career, part of patrol, and then currently part of the crime reduction unit. Officer Connor's new assignment will be a sergeant in the Westover Division. He was the recipient of the Officer of the Month in 2012, a member of the SWAT team as an energetic breacher since 2013, a winner of the City of Charlotte Govey's Award for Best Team as a member of the Eastway Crime Reduction Unit in 2019, and he earned his Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate in 2020. Officer Connor earned his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from North Carolina Central University in 2005, and is joined on stage by his father, retired CMPD homicide detective Chuck Connor. Detective Connor, you may pin your son.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
Our next promotion will be Officer Michael Summerlin. According to Lieutenant Wheaton, one night in the fall, Officer Summerlin noticed a homeless male sleeping on the right side of Veterans Park. They struck up a conversation, and he advised Officer Summerlin of his situation and life events. Officer Summerlin went to the McDonald's on Central Avenue and purchased some food, and since that incident, he has spent his own money on blankets and kept them in his vehicle to hand out to the homeless in the winter months. Officer Summerlin has shown compassion on numerous occasions similar to this one, which is another great characteristic of a leader. Officer Summerlin takes time to explain police practices and educates the community on things may not be readily apparent. Officer Summerlin is a member of the 166th recruit class hired in July of 2013. He was assigned to the Independence Division from 2013 to 2017 and since that time has been in the Eastway Division. His new assignment will be a sergeant in the North Tryon Division. Officer Summerlin is a member of the Albemarle Road Violent Crime Task Force in 2016, a recipient of the Life Saving Award in 2018. He earned his private pilot's license in 2019 and is a crisis intervention training officer. Officer Summerlin earned his Associates of Arts from Central Piedmont Community College in 2011 and his Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice from the University of North Carolina, Charlotte in 2013, and is joined on stage with his wife, Rebecca. Rebecca, you may pin.
Congratulations, Sergeant.
Our final promotion of the morning is to the rank of captain. And to receive that honor is Lieutenant Brian Hofer. According to Captain McNally, Lieutenant Hofer exhibits a quiet servant leadership. In a short time in the Violent Crimes Division, Lieutenant Hofer dug in quickly to learn how he could support 3 well-run units at the command level. He advocates for what his employees need and serves them by volunteering to handle administrative tasks so that his units can focus on their work. Lieutenant Hofer spearheaded grant opportunities, the addition of staff, training opportunities, and more. He leads by serving the needs of his employees in a manner where his personal recognition is not a motivator, but the development and success of others is primary. Lieutenant Hofer is a member of the 134th recruit class hired in May of 2000. As an officer, he worked in the Central Division and in the Steel Creek Division until he was promoted to sergeant in 2011, where he worked in the University City Division. He was promoted to lieutenant in 2015, where as a lieutenant he worked in the Providence Division, the Special Events Division, Operations Command, was the executive officer for Patrol Services and Special Services, and most recently in the Violent Crimes Division. Lieutenant Hofer's new assignment will be a captain over the Steel Creek Division. He earned his Advanced Law Enforcement Certificate in 2010, graduated from the 3rd CMPD Command College in 2018. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from East Carolina University in 1998, and his Master of Science in Criminal Justice from East Carolina University in 2009. He's joined on stage by his wife Gina and his children Paisley and London. You may pin.
Congratulations, Captain.
If our 3 newly minted sergeants can please join our newly minted captain on stage, I would ask Stephanie Kelly, our city clerk, to come out and give the reaffirmation of the oath of office.
With the Bible in your left hand, would you please raise your right and repeat after me? I state your names. Do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state, that I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice, that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer according to the best of my skill, abilities, and judgment. So help me God. Congratulations and Godspeed.
As Chief Jennings mentioned earlier, the past year has challenged law enforcement as never before. But there is one powerful leadership strategy that is being overlooked, and that is being kind. Kindness and leadership aren't two words you often see used together, but kindness in leadership is essential if you want to improve the engagement of everyone within your division and earn their trust and respect. If you asked a group of people to list the top 5 attributes for a great leader, you'd probably hear words like honesty, vision, determination, but you probably would not see the word kind. Yet if kindness is not a common trait that we identify with leadership, why is kindness in leadership so important? According to a recent Gallup survey, less than half of employees feel strongly that their employer cares about their well-being. Practicing active, habitual kindness can transform the workplace, and it can start today. A little reassurance, compassionate listening, a conscious effort to validate people's fears, and confusion all go a long way. Kind leadership brings in all the different elements of authenticity, transparency, warmth, building trust, and empowering people. So when we talk about kindness, what we really mean is including a little of each of these different traits of being a good leader in your day-to-day approach. Kind leaders do 5 things really well. They set clear expectations. They tell people what is expected so they can't hang them out to dry for not meeting the expectations they were never aware of in the first place. Kind leaders give honest feedback. When leaders don't tell people the truth under the guise that they don't want to hurt the individual, they're not being kind. All they're really doing is being kind to themselves by protecting themselves from a possible awkward or uncomfortable situation. Kind leaders encourage growth. We're privileged enough that we fulfill the basic requirements in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, those being food, water, warmth, and safety. We're at the point of self-actualization. And this is what many of us get from work. As leaders, we can be kind by offering people opportunities and encouraging them to achieve their full potential and gain self-worth. 4, kind leaders are transparent in their decision-making. A kind leader will show consideration and openness about decisions they make that impact others. Whether the impact is positive or negative, leaders need to tell the story of how they got there and then allow people to process it, understand it, and come back with their opinion. It's about showing clarity and transparency in decision-making rather than hiding things and letting people's imaginations run wild. Finally, kind leaders treat people like people. They recognize that people are people, not machines. They smile, they say thank you, and they acknowledge people. They celebrate people's successes, like today, talk to them like adults, and check in to see how they're doing. They show people that you're all in this together, respect them, and trust that they'll do the right thing. Philo of Alexandria, one of the world's first philosophers, said that be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. That quote was true when Philo said it more than 3,500 years ago, and it's applicable today. General Colin Powell said, always show more kindness than seems necessary because the person receiving it needs it more than you will ever know. Quite simply, live by the golden rule of treating others how you want to be treated. And this can all start by being kind. And it can start today as you begin your new roles within the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. I want to thank you all for tuning in for today's lateral class graduation and promotion ceremony. Thank you all for coming out today. It's great to see everyone in person. And please continue to help celebrate the lives of these 16 incredible individuals.